Alrighty everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Jeff Stroop, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys my top 6 keto tips when starting the ketogenic diet. Alrighty, let's get jumped right in. So my first tip when starting the ketogenic diet is just to keep it simple, guys. So what I would suggest is don't worry too much about your caloric intake or trying to be in a deficit if you're trying to lose weight. Just simply worry about eating the proper foods, high fat foods, low carbs obviously, and eating your vegetables. So just kind of get used to the foods. It's going to take you a few days at least to get into ketosis. So don't be too concerned about your caloric intake. Obviously don't be a pig and watch your carbs for sure. But just keep it simple. I would say don't get too carried away trying to push your limits with artificial sweeteners and like the meal and the drink and all that sort of stuff. You can definitely incorporate it, but just don't abuse it. I would say if you have to use any sort of sweetener, to use stevia. It's natural for one, and also it has a very low, if not zero, glycemic index. And basically all that means, the glycemic index, is how much a substance affects your insulin level. So supposedly stevia has a 0, which means it doesn't affect your insulin. So basically when your insulin gets spiked, you kind of go into fat storage mode rather than fat burn mode, which is not what you want. So if you have to use a sweetener to sweeten your coffee or whatever it may be, use stevia. But like I said, guys, just at the start, keep it simple. Don't push your luck too much, and just try and worry about eating the right foods. That's tip number 1. Alright, so my tip number 2 is try your best to keep your macronutrients, which if you don't know is your fat, protein, and carbohydrates. Try and keep your macronutrient percentages in check. So on the ketogenic diet, you're going to want to have roughly 70 to 80% of the food you eat in a day be coming from high-fat sources. You're going to want about 20 to 25% coming from protein, and you're going to want 5 or less percent coming from carbs, obviously excluding fiber. You can eat, I wouldn't say unlimited, but I wouldn't watch fiber really too much. You can even subtract your fiber from your net carb intake, and you'll be okay. And yeah, guys, obviously this may be a little bit hard to track if you don't track your macros. I would definitely suggest tracking your macros when starting keto. And the way I like to do it is MyFitnessPal. It's very informative. It's very easy to use. You can scan barcodes. You can add custom recipes and so much more, guys. So tip number 2 is just try and keep your macro percentages in check. Alright, so my tip number 3 is a bit of an elaboration on my tip number 2. And basically what my tip number 3 is, watch your protein consumption. A process called gluconeogenesis can occur if you eat too much protein on the ketogenic diet. And basically, this is a really fancy word for your body turning extra protein or excess protein into carbohydrates and therefore kicking you out of ketosis, which is obviously not the goal whatsoever here. And it can happen if you eat too much protein. So obviously, like I said on my last point, you want to keep your macro percentages in check. So don't abuse that 20 to 25% protein too much. This is kind of the short one here, but yeah, keep your protein moderate, and you should be okay. Alrighty, so these tips have not been in any really sort of specific order, going from least important to most important or whatever it may be, but this one is definitely one of the more important ones. This one is make sure that you are consuming enough sodium, potassium, and magnesium, or electrolytes or micronutrients, whatever you want to call them. So in ketosis, your body, since it doesn't have any carbohydrates, you lose a lot of water weight, because water is held in the cell by carbohydrates. So obviously with the lack of carbohydrates in your body, you don't have that water. So when your body flushes water, it also can flush some of these electrolytes, so you need to replenish them much more on keto. These 3 micronutrients, potassium, magnesium, and sodium, actually work all together. So you need to have, your body tries to level these 3 out. It always likes to have a balance of these 3. So what I would suggest is, literally guys, salt everything. I ain't even joking. I'm going to show you here. Get yourself some Himalayan pink salt. This is, in my opinion, one of the better ones here, and it's because this one isn't just straight sodium. It has some other nutrients in there and other minerals, so that's good. I also have up here some magnesium, which you can see, and I would definitely suggest getting some of these. And lastly is potassium. So potassium you can get from avocados, so if you like avocados, those are a staple on the ketogenic diet. But if you do not like avocados, I would definitely suggest getting some potassium pills as well. I don't have that issue because I love avocados. It's not a problem for me. And like I said, guys, don't be afraid to salt lots, like basically everything you eat on the ketogenic diet. You need that salt, and salt is like sodium potassium and magnesium are electrolytes, right? So when you're deficient in this, you actually can get what's called the keto flu. And you feel like crap if you have the keto flu, all right? This is something you absolutely want to avoid. And by taking these 3 nutrients here, you can help yourself to kind of miss that little step along the way while getting into ketosis. And also, not just getting into ketosis, but you need to maintain these levels throughout your whole keto journey. So definitely make sure that you are consuming enough sodium, potassium, and magnesium, and you should have no issues getting into ketosis and feeling great and not, getting the keto flu and feeling all tired and lightheaded all the time. And it's just a headache, guys. Don't do it. Just listen to what I'm saying here. Take some magnesium, get some potassium in you, and most importantly, well, not most importantly, but for the lightheadedness, get some sodium in you. Alright, this one's not really keto specific. I suggest this on all diets, but eat your green veggies, guys, just like your parents told you, okay? You need your greens to grow. Eat those greens, okay? They're very important. Not only do they have lots of your micronutrients that you need, but they will also kind of help to suppress those sugar cravings, as well as it's just extra food. So if you enjoy them, all the better. Eat as much as you want. And if you don't enjoy them, well, you better start now because you need to eat them. All jokes aside, no, it's really important, and it's just, for me, it's more food. I like food. Sometimes when you're like cutting, you can kind of feel a little bit, on the short end of the stick in terms of food and what you get to eat. But if you eat your veggies, even before your supper or your good meal, that'll help to fill you up. Then you get to, enjoy your good meal, and then you just feel more full and more satiated throughout the whole process. You know what I mean? So eat your veggies, kids. So my last point is, you need to drink a lot of water on keto. So like I said, carbohydrates hold water in the cell. So with the absence of carbohydrates in your body, you need to drink much more water to keep replenishing your hydration, and that also goes with sodium. That keeps you hydrated, right? So you need to make sure probably to drink, I would say 1.5 to 2 times more water than you regularly would on keto, because you don't have all that carbohydrates or all those carbohydrates holding the water in your cells. So definitely make sure you are drinking water. And like I said, you can use those meal kind of water sweeteners or whatever. Just don't abuse them. I personally haven't had too much experience with them kicking people out of ketosis. But I know when I was going super strict, I just, cut out everything, all the sweeteners and everything. And I feel like it makes a slight difference for sure. If you need them, definitely use them. Just don't abuse them. Alright, so that's going to be the closing of this video. Just a quick recap. So, keep it simple off the start. Just don't worry too much about counting calories. Just worry about getting into ketosis. Second is keep your macronutrient percentages in check. Third will be to keep your protein levels. Make sure they don't go too high. Fourth one is your micronutrients, sodium, potassium, magnesium. These are vital, guys. Do not miss out on these. You'll not only feel like crap, but you won't get the clarity, the brain clarity, and there's a chance that you can get lightheaded sometimes if your sodium's too low. And just, it's not a fun time. Other than that, make sure to drink lots of water and eat your green veggies, guys. Like your parents told you, eat your greens. But other than that, these quick tips should help you guys to be successful while starting keto. And I hope that it could be of some use to whoever out there watching this. And other than that, if you guys like this video, please leave me a like. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to drop me a comment, send me an email, whatever, that's all good. And lastly, if you like this and you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and share it with somebody if you think it could be helpful. And that's where we're going to end this one, guys. This is just a little quick video, but I just kind of wanted to put this out to help you guys starting your keto journeys. And yeah, so peace.